Fellow Nigerians, as your future president and a very passionate Super Eagles fan, I know that losing the AFCON 2023 final to Ivory Coast on Sunday, February 11 was and is a very hard pill to swallow. Indeed, for some time now, particularly since Bola Tinubu took office following the February 2023 presidential election, which was rigged with the help of people like INEC Chairman Mahmoud Yakubu and the then Rivers State Governor Nyesom Wike, our people and our country have been going through very tough economic times. The Naira, as we all know, has nosedived since June 2023, taking with it foreign investors' confidence in our economy and the job opportunities and other benefits that brings. Insecurity in several parts of the country, including Abuja, our capital, has also been quite concerning. So yes, millions of Nigerians like me had hoped that a Super Eagles victory at AFCON 2023 was going to put smiles on our faces and lift our spirits, even if only for a few days. Sadly, that was not to be. Nevertheless, as the giant of Africa that we are, symbolically, and hopefully in my lifetime practically, it is important that we look at the big picture, reflect on the positives, and learn the necessary lessons that AFCON 2023 has taught us in order to improve our chances of winning in the future. Here, therefore, are 5 lessons I believe we can learn from AFCON 2023. First of all, Ivory Coast literally qualified for the knockout stage of the competition with the lowest score possible, being the 4th best third-place team. Yet they got rid of their foreign coach at that point and went on to become champions with a previously unknown local coach, 40-year-old Emirs Faye. Indeed, Senegal similarly won their first AFCON title at the AFCON 2021 with a local coach, Aliou Cissé. Algeria also won AFCON 2019 with a local coach, Jamel Belmadi. Yes, José Posero, our foreign coach, got us to the AFCON 2023 final, which our local coach at the AFCON 2021, Augustin Eguavon, was unable to do. But let's not forget that the last time we won the AFCON in 2013, it was with a local coach, the late Stephen Keshi. May his soul rest in peace. The significance of winning with local coaches is that it inspires great self-belief, great self-confidence among us as Nigerians and Africans. And that is why I believe that the Nigeria Football Federation should be deliberate about only hiring local coaches henceforth. Thankfully, we have a pool of successful former Super Eagles players and leaders to pick from. In fact, Ivory Coast Faye, Senegal Cissé, Algeria's Belmadi, and our very own Keshi were all national team players before becoming coaches. That said, the story of Ivory Coast's victory will not be complete without special mention of Sébastien Haller, the player who scored the only goal of the semi-final win against the Democratic Republic of Congo, and who also scored the winning goal at the final against us. That is particularly so because in July 2022, Sébastien Haller was diagnosed with testicular cancer. And 7 months later, in February 2023, Haller recovered from cancer and returned to football. And now, a year later, he has become a hero in his country, deservingly, of course. Which brings me to the second lesson from AFCON 2023, passion and desire on the part of the players. Haller and several of his other Ivorian teammates played like their lives depended on it. They literally gave their all. Of course, yeah, they were helped by the home support, but indeed we could see that they really wanted the victory. Sadly, that cannot exactly be said of many or most of our players. Apart from the likes of Captain William Troost-Ekong, goalkeeper Stanley Nwabali, and striker Victor Osimhen, most of our Super Eagles clearly didn't play with heart or commitment. I may be wrong, but perhaps it was a coaching problem. If so, that just reinforces my earlier point about the need for a local coach who can better connect with the players in ways that foreign coaches can't. And by the way, no matter how disappointed or hurt we feel about the team and some of the individual players, cyberbullying them isn't the way out. That's why I totally condemn the cyberbullying of Alex Iwobi. Two wrongs, as we all know, never make a right. Also worth mentioning is the fact that 23 of all the 26 players in South Africa's AFCON 2023 squad play their club football in their country's local league. And South Africa showed great spirit in their semi-final match against us, even dominating possession and creating some very good goal-scoring chances. Indeed, they were worthy winners of the third-place match. My point? Remember Sundimba? Yeah, that guy. Sundimba, the Super Eagle who scored the winner against the star-studded Ivory Coast team led by the great Didier Drogba at the AFCON 2013 quarterfinal, and later scored the only goal in the final against Burkina Faso, was a Wari Wolves player at the time. Indeed, he was one of the 6 local-based players that Stephen Keshi picked for the AFCON 2013, despite opposition from various quarters. Which ultimately reminds us that we have some great local talents that we can always count on to make a positive difference when given the chance. But we have to give them the chance. In addition, the use of the controversial VAR technology at the AFCON 2023 was so effective that it earned plaudits from football pundits like former English footballer and football commentator Gary Neville. Neville indeed publicly stated that while the VAR, as seen in Europe and the English Premier League, for example, is often controversial, the technology seems to have had a near flawless operation at the AFCON 2023. While it was certainly not funny to go from thinking we were 2 goals up against South Africa in the semi-final with a few minutes left to conceding a penalty based on a VAR ruling, it is fair to say that VAR use at the AFCON 2023 was quite commendable on the whole. The lesson here is that our Super Eagles should henceforth be made to be more conscious of their actions on the pitch, even in the heat of the moment, because VAR administration seems to be quite effective, quite good, at least at the AFCON, and can only potentially get better. If it wasn't indeed for goalkeeper Nwabali's penalty shootout heroics, Al Hassan Yusuf's tackle, which was caught by VAR and resulted in Osim Han's goal being disallowed and South Africa scoring an equalizer, that could easily have led to us losing the match. The 5th and final lesson from AFCON 2023, from my perspective, of course, is that African football has become very competitive. And that's a good thing for Africa. In fact, the 8 quarterfinalists of AFCON 2023 were all different from those of AFCON 2021. And what this suggests is that we, Nigeria, must not rest on our laurels or even continue to think of ourselves as perpetual AFCON favorites. By the end of the last century, 1999, Nigeria and Cameroon, for example, both had 2 AFCON trophies each. But since then, Cameroon has gone on to win 3 more, while we have only managed 1 more. Similarly, Ivory Coast, that had won 1 trophy before this century, now has the same 3 as us. It's been long since Ghana last won an AFCON trophy, but they still have 4, 1 more than we do. So clearly, we have to up our game. We must improve on our competitiveness and win more AFCON trophies. We are, after all, the giant of Africa. That's it, fellow Nigerians. Those are 5 important lessons from AFCON 2023 that I believe will serve us well in the future, be it at the AFCON 2025 in Morocco, the AFCON 2027 in Kenya, Uganda, and Tanzania, and of course the World Cup 2026 in North America. Indeed, the lessons will first serve us well at the qualifications because to take part in those tournaments, we will first absolutely have to qualify. One final thought. If there is any silver lining in this dark cloud of defeat and disappointment for Nigeria, it is that it deprives the generally corrupt and incompetent Tinubu administration of the chance to politicize what would have been a Super Eagles victory. This is particularly important because of the damaging impact their poorly thought out economic policies have and continue to have had and continue to have on Nigerians. Thank you very much for watching. God bless the Super Eagles. God bless the Nigerian people. God bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria.